Welcome, one and all. This is not another football podcast. This is NAF. I am Butcher, and he is Burnham. This is where we discuss everything that we appreciate about the lovely game of football, why we got into it, who we support, why we support them, and what we love about them special moments that make you go, oh, fucking hell! This is not another football podcast. And this is episode 1.
Oh, fucking hell! So, yeah, guys, basically, if you are fans of wrestling, you may have heard our two voices before. But, basically, I'm a Blade, Dave's a Red, and we're just going to put our minds together and just try and bring you something different to listen to, because obviously there is a lot of football podcasts out there, but we just want to kind of bring something a bit different. We just don't want to talk about the Premier League or talk about La Liga or talk about the World Cup or the Champions League. We want to talk about absolutely everything, from our favourite goals to our favourite sendings off to our worst managers and worst kits. So what we're going to kick off episode 1. Firstly off, I think maybe we'll just have a bit of a chat, let everyone know obviously what got us into football, and say who we support, why we support them, etc. And then what we're going to do is I've picked my all-time favourite Fantasy 11 plus subs, and so's Butcher, and we're going to basically put them to the test and deliberate amongst ourselves who's got the better team, obviously, and it's going to be me, obvious.
I don't think so.
So I'll throw it out to you first then, Butch. Obviously, Liverpool fan.
Oh, yeah.
Was that parents, grandparents?
My granddad,
when was the, let's tell a story about your first trip to Anfield.
First trip to Anfield was to see the derby against Everton.
Oh, not a
grandfather took me. I remember it just because of the noise. I remember it because of the noise. These days, obviously, season tickets are freaking extortionate and stupidly fucking hard to get. And I think sometimes, you know, when anyone that says, "Oh, watching it," being at home watching it on TV does not do it any justice.
No.
There is no noise, like, you know what I mean? That bouncing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's no freaking feeling like it. I mean, I'm being 4 years of age, you know, sat there with my grandfather, you know, and it's 80s, man. 80s. Completely different fucking atmosphere. Completely different atmosphere. I mean, you've got to take into context that 84, 85 was a good year for Liverpool Football Club. We won the European Championship, so we were on a roll, you know? And that noise only got louder and louder and louder. And I mean, born 1980, you haven't really got, do you know what I mean? You don't know a lot. Even at 84, I was like, this is just a football team. Could you call yourself a supporter? No, because I never knew enough. You know, I'm still 4 years of age. I think I slowly became a solid Red at around 89. You know what I mean? So, I'm still young. You're still running around the freaking, you know, with your pals in the yard, you know, pulling your shirt over your head and shit, and freaking, you know what I mean? Calling yourself freaking Jurgen Klinsmann. Do you know what I mean? Or Diego Maradona.
Diving into that mud. Klinsmann!
Well, that's it. That's it. You know what I mean? You lived them moments that you saw as special, and you remember them now so fondly. But I mean, me growing up as a Red, I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't change it for the world. I always used to say, people hated Liverpool because they were envious. Of course they were.
Well, that's the same. That's the same with Man U of the 90s, isn't it? And
exactly.
Leeds of the 70s.
We were a power trip.
Oh yeah.
You know. I mean, people say, oh, you know. I think it makes me chuckle now because people say, why did you support Liverpool? Because they won the European Championship? No, because all my family are Manx.
Yeah. All
of them. Me and my grandfather are the only two Liverpool fans in the family. So, you know, I looked up to my old grandpa, you know what I mean? And I mean, I did look up to him. And the guy was 7 foot fucking 1, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? He was fucking huge. And I definitely looked up to him, like. And when he said to me, you know what I mean? It was just, to me, it was kind of, it was, I don't know, it was one of them moments, you know, where you go with your dad the first time to a football match. My first time to a football match was with my granddad, you know? And I thank him for it, like, you know what I mean? Because he gave me something which I carried with me. God rest his soul, he's gone now, like, but he gave me something which has stuck with me for the rest of my life. And I thank him even more because if I hadn't have been a beautiful freaking red, I'd have been a shitbag fucking man fucking fan. You know? And I hate them bastards. I really hate them. You know? I don't hate them. I mean, I think hate's a strong word. Hate's a strong word. Bitter.
Fucking despise.
Bitter. Despise. You know, it's probably what I don't hate them, man. I don't understand. I think too many people jump on the football rivalry bandwagon with all this hate, fucking scumbags. Understand why the rivalry became a rivalry. Yeah. That's what I say. Because it wasn't because of trophies and everything like that. It was because of work. You know what I mean? Unemployment was an issue back in the day. You know what I mean? Yeah, and that was it. Manchester took all the work from the docks. You know, and that was it. Maggie Thatcher had a lot to do with it. That was it. You know, had nothing to do with two fucking football teams. Shut the fuck up. It really winds me up. But yeah, I love my boys. I love my team. Absolutely love them. I mean, I am one of these Liverpool fans. Say, we'll do it next year. We'll do it next year.
Yeah, but we've all got to that point though, haven't we? Like, even non-Liverpool fans, we've all got to that point thinking next year's going to be Liverpool's year. Well,
that's it. Do you know what I mean? I've got my own fucking A4 pad with tallies. Do you know what I mean? like a guy doing jail does a tally on a wall. I've got an A4 pad, and I tell you, I'm on my last page. I can't have another year. So Dave, well, you're a beloved Blade.
Aye.
Sheffield United fan.
For my sins.
What got you? What got you into Sheffield United?
Parents. My mother and father, they were both season tickets holders at Sheffield United, and for about 6 years roughly, they stood next to each other in a stand and never spoke. And then one day they turned around and spoke, and about 6 months later they got married. So it was fully in my blood. I think my father first took me to a match where I must have been about 3. I don't remember anything apart from, it's a really weird memory and it's always stuck with me for all my life. I can't remember anything apart from my dad handing me to a random stranger to hold me while he got his pulls coupon out and checked his pulls. And this random stranger gave me a boiled sweet. I couldn't tell you who we played, what the result was. I've not got any idea. But
that's classic.
My memory is him saying, "Here, stranger."
Yeah, mate, hold him a minute when I check my coupon.
Hold him when I check my coupon. Funny little story that my mum used to always tell us when we were growing up, where my father used to go and watch football. And obviously back in the day, referees, they dressed in traditional all black. The only thing that wasn't black was the trim on the socks. It was usually white. And my mum, she's always the passionate football fan. Very passionate. Like, obviously, with women, you kind of get it one or two ways where they either despise it. Well, one of 3 ways. They either despise it, they can tolerate it, or they are as passionate as every other football fan on planet. And my mum was in that latter category. She was a huge season ticket holder. The one story, I can't remember who we were playing, and the referee made a mistake. And my mum's, at the top of her voice, bellowed, "Now then, you useless black. You know what's coming next." And she turns around, and over her shoulder was about a 6'5" black lad. She just turned around and went, "Hiya, pal," and then turned back around and started watching football again. But for me, if we're going to watch United, like I said, I always went as a young lad. But for me, when I first started going on my own, I started taking my little brother. I must have been maybe 11. That's when the bug hit me hard. Because when I was going with my dad, you kind of did what my dad did. Where when I was going on my own, you could. I always like to go like an hour before and wait for the players and get some autographs. And this is obviously Sheffield United. We've never been as fortunate as the Liverpools of the world to play constantly at that top level of football. But we've dabbled. We've dabbled in the Premier League. I've seen us play in the Premier League twice in my lifetime. I've seen us go to have Arsenal at home and beat them 1-0. Which was fucking brilliant. So we've had also, being a Sheffield United fan, we've had an eclectic group of incredibly talented players that we've seen come and go. Off top of my head now, players that are currently playing in the England setup. You've got Gary Cahill, who spent some time at United. Phil Jagielka, he come through our system. Kyle Walker, Sheffield lad. That's just 3 off the top of my head. Marcelo, Dean Saunders I've seen play at United. Ian Rush I've seen play for United. Granted, he was like 37 and it was the last club and he played once. Brian Dean, probably one of the greatest footballers I've ever seen in the United shirt. So it's like, even though we are in a lot of people always talk about Sheffield United as like one of the sleeping giants of football. But it's not like that we've never had opportunities. Let's go back to when we got relegated last from the Premier League, the whole Carlos Tevez affair. For me, it's got, I'm firmly in that category of it's not got nothing to do with Carlos Tevez. We were 11 points clear at one point of that relegation zone. It was in our own hands, and we were safe against Wigan until Phil Jagielka decided to try and play volleyball in the fucking penalty area or defending a corner. But yeah, so Sheffield United's my team, Liverpool's your team. Is there any other teams that do you have what people call a second team? Is there any that I don't believe you can have a second team, but I've always had a soft spot for Tottenham. I've got no idea why. No idea why. I think it could be the days of where Tottenham were very English, where they had like Michael Carrick, Jermaine Defoe, Michael Dawson, Ledley King. Mm-hmm. So I've always had a soft spot for Tottenham. How about yourself? Mm-hmm. Do you have like do
you know what?
Do you have a team you keep an eye out for?
To be honest with you, I mean, you grow up. I mean, not particularly. I mean, I never ever said it in front of me granddad, man. Do you know what I mean? I never ever said. There was a couple, to be honest with you. There was a couple growing up because obviously the game of football's an attractive game, and you don't watch. You didn't. You know what I mean? You watch other footballers as well. And you go, oh, freaking, I love him. Yeah, I love him. I think in the 90s, I would probably say Arsenal. Arsenal. Then going into the late, Arsenal, Newcastle. I loved Newcastle. Absolutely loved Newcastle.
Are we talking the days of like Asprilla and Ginola?
Yeah.
Philip Albert.
Yeah, Steve
Rob
Howe,
Lee.
Philip Albert. Pavel Srnicek. John Beresford.
Should have done a lot better. You know, should have done a lot better with that side.
I think they had a absolutely phenomenal side.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal team. Philip Albert, what a player.
Yeah.
The guy was a tank.
Absolutely.
And Arsenal. I mean, watching Arsenal grow up under George Graham. Ian Wright, your Stevie Bowles, Martin Keown, very young David Seaman. Yeah. And in my opinion, he deserves that. He deserves that label as probably the best English keeper. Oh, I think he is. I think he is.
Guaranteed.
You know.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. You've never seen a guy that big move so.
David
he's just agile, wasn't he?
For me, being a Sheffield United fan, the semi-final FA Cup save against Pesky Solido, when he literally stopped in mid-air to save that was just. I remember watching it live, and we were recording it. I think we were recording it for my brother who weren't in, and I watched it back and back, and I still to this day
it's memorable, isn't it? Yeah, I remember it.
How he saved that?
Is he levitating?
Yeah, how he saved that header. And Pesky Solido, as we all know, is the size of a fucking borrower. Right? It was like 2 foot tall. The fact that Pascalino managed to rise to head a ball was impressive enough. But it was like he paused the telly to get his hand behind that ball and flick it back out. That was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
There's a name, man. I always used to sign him. Always used to sign Pesky Solido, man. I always used to sign him on Championship Manager.
Oh, it was...
Without a doubt. You used to look at him, you used to be like, it would say central midfielder, central right, left, centre. He was like the perfect player to have in midfield or something like that.
And his pace, his pace on all the Football Manager games were ridiculous. His pace was outstanding. Well, Pesky Solido, did
he have a stint at Derby?
Yeah.
Well, there you go, yeah.
He played Derby, Birmingham, a few other clubs, I think. But for me, Pesky Solido, he always stands out in the playoff semi-final of the 2002-03 season, I believe it was. We played Notts... was it the Notts Forest? Yeah, I'm sure it was the Notts Forest semi-final. We drew 1-1 at Forest, and then the playoff the second leg where it come to United. And we were 2-0 down, and then we scored, and then Des Walker scored, who was playing for Forest at the time, an own goal, which was brilliant, because obviously being an ex-Wednesday player. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. And then it went to extra time, and then we brought Pesky Solido on, and he scored 2 goals in space of about 5 minutes, and it was just wow. And Pesky Solido for me, I always looked at him with the style of like an Ollie Solskjaer for Man U, playing for 90 minutes, and you won't get the best out of him, but bring him on for 15 or 20, and he'll play out of his skin. out of his
Yeah.
skin. But speaking of players, shall we move on to my 11 versus your 11?
Ooh, exciting moment.
So, we decided, rules are out the window. Any player, any era, as long as you pick 11 players and 5 subs. So, we'll throw it out first. I'll let you go first, Dave. Goalkeeper, who's in your selection?
Well, I had to, this hurt me a bit. It did hurt me, but at the same time, I kind of look at the things that influenced you growing up and stuff like that. And this guy stood out. He just stood out like a sore thumb. Part of the Ajax academy, transferred to Juventus. It's none other than Edwin van der Sar.
Oh, nice.
You know,
I think
big bandy guy.
I think with Van der Sar as well, he kind of reinvented himself when he signed for Fulham.
Yeah. I thought, do you know what? I think it was one of them things that I kind of looked at as a bold move. You know, Fulham were a well looked after side, weren't they, under Al Fayed?
Well, they had his billions, didn't they? They were getting bankrolled by his billions.
Yeah. You know, they made a few stupid choices, Fulham, and Jean Tigana and things like that.
Yeah.
But they modelled the team correctly, I thought. Team definitely, in going in the right direction. And I mean, only showed that, when you sign a guy of that standard.
He proved all the doubters wrong when Schmeichel left Man U. They tried everything, didn't they? They had Massimo Taibbi, Mark Bosnich, Fabian Barthez. We had so many, and they could never find the replacement for Schmeichel to be that influence. And Van der Sar was that influence, and look, it proved that when they went on to win the Champions League. Yeah,
definitely. He was just superb to watch. And I mean, how hard is it for players to basically go from one league to another? Yeah. Make that transition so easy. And he did it from going through, I wouldn't say the strongest league in the world in Holland,
Oh, no, far from it.
But back in that period of time, Ajax were just, you only have to, you know what I mean? Ajax were the Galacticos of football in the 90s.
Well, look at the team. Look at the players they had when they had your Frank and Ronald de Boers. You had your Cliverts.
Exactly.
You had
Freizigers, your Bogards, your Daddy Blints. They were just a fortress, and Europe's elite teams fed off them.
Well, look at when Holland won the European Cup was it in 88 or 92?
Yeah, 92.
Yeah, and that team was dominated by Dutch-based players.
Yeah.
Look at the Holland team now, and maybe 2 or 3 play for Ajax or Eindhoven, or everybody else plays in Europe.
Exactly. I mean, that's why Van der Sar's there. I could have had my choice. Do you know what I mean? The list is endless.
Yeah.
Of quality keepers going through our era of football. I mean, enough about me. Who's your goalkeeper?
Well, for me, my goalkeeper is, for me, the greatest footballer to never win the Champions League. Buffon.
GG.
Been the top of his game. It was a tough choice because I was split between Buffon and Casillas.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Casillas had it more cushy than Buffon's had it at Juventus. Mm-hmm. Where obviously Buffon, when Juventus had all the trials and tribulations with all the match fixing, Buffon stuck by them. Where I think
the guy's a god.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for him to have not have a Champions League medal, it's the same as Totti. How Totti's not got a Champions League medal, but it proves that sometimes loyalty can win. Like Totti's retired 3 weeks ago, and he's retired being probably the most respected and well-rounded one-club man that there's ever been in history of football.
Yeah.
And it, sometimes, like I said, he could have gone to Madrid, he could have gone to Man U, Totti could have signed for anybody in the mid-90s, and same as Buffon. Absolutely.
Of course he could.
When he left, was it Parma that Buffon left before he joined Juventus?
Yes, he was the most expensive goalkeeper at the time.
About 36 million or something like that.
36 million spent in the 90s.
Yeah, which was
you never seen it.
Absolutely. Well, there was them records that were held for ages. Like Zidane was the most expensive player when he signed for 50 million for fucking donkeys.
And he earns every bit of that 30-odd million.
Well,
every bit.
I can guarantee he's in yours, and he guarantees there's a good chance he's going to be in mine. So we'll catch up with Zidane in a bit. But yeah, we finished with Buffon. For me, everything about him is just his shot stopping, his movement. He's so fast. Even now, he's in his late 30s, and he sprints off that line on a one-on-one, and he'll close you down before you can even think what foot you're going to kick ball with. Absolutely phenomenal. So we'll move on. Let's go into defence. Left back.
You see, well, I go with a 3-5-2.
Oh, all right then. Okay.
But he was.
Okay.
I think he's the most versatile defender I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
The most versatile. And you know who I'm going to say. Paolo Maldini.
Yes.
Paolo Maldini.
While we're on that subject, my left back is also Paolo Maldini.
It's just to watch a guy, I wanted to be Maldini.
Yeah.
I wanted to be Maldini,
I think
to where he wore that famous red and black.
Oh, he wore them
pride
colours.
and
his
everything.
Blood, you cut him, and Maldini bled red and black. He was so AC Milan through and through. But for somebody to be so comfortable to be able to switch between left back, which is a difficult job as it is for the size of somebody like Maldini as well, to play left back, but then to switch to centre half and then switch back to left back and be as comfortable.
I've seen him playing goal.
Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't surprise me if Maldini playing centre midfield.
No, it wouldn't, would it? It just really wouldn't, because that's the type of player he was. He was so mobile, but he was everything. He was everything. He was a goal scorer. He was a defender. He could pass the ball. He had pace. He had strength. Do you know what I mean? You would have no qualms today. And I'm one of these people that says all this money being chucked around in football is freaking dangerous. And I firmly believe that. I don't like it. I don't like it because I came from an era where there was no money spent. But I would not think twice about going out and spending £150 million on Paolo Maldini.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I wouldn't, because he's gonna walk in your dressing room. The players are gonna look at him in awe. He's an automatic leader, and players want to play for him, and that's why AC Milan was so powerful.
Well, look at the defensive partnership when they moved into centre half. With the defensive partnership that he had Italy with Nesta.
Mm-hmm.
That them two were.
There you go.
Not even Italy. Just look at AC Milan
No.
when they moved into centre half. And then you had Cafu on the right side. I can't for the life of me remember who was left back when they moved Maldini. But just them three alone, Cafu, Nesta, and Maldini, just.
Serginho.
I was thinking, I couldn't pronounce. I think of the.
I think it was Serginho. But yeah, no, he's fucking. You couldn't touch the guy. You just couldn't. He was just. I mean, I remember the famous 2005, and do you know what? He scored the opening goal. You know what I mean? 4 minutes. 4 minutes. And I mean, I was one of these lucky people who was in Istanbul. Do you know what I mean? I was there. And that moment of 4 minutes, I was just like, what?
And you've got to think as well.
Fucking really?
And this is 2005, and Maldini would have been in his mid-30s.
That's what I'm saying.
Mid-30s, running rings around people. People half his age.
He could still do it now. I firmly believe he could. I remember watching an interview once with I can't remember which AC Milan manager it was, but I remember the manager basically saying, obviously he didn't speak English, spoke Italian, but obviously they translate it and stuff like that. I remember him saying something along the lines of his job was made so much easier coming into a team with such a big, do you know what I mean? Following and so much fans wanting. Do you know what I mean? They want success. I wouldn't say they demand success. It must be so hard to manage a team like that. But this guy basically said, my job was easy. You walk in, and when you had a guy like Paolo Maldini, do you know what I mean? He didn't have to do a hell of a lot of talking off that bench and direct, because Maldini just directed everything. Everything went through that one man. Do you know what I mean? Fucking epitomised the leader of men, as you will. Definitely. You know, the guy was just a god. Yeah, I mean, the only guy that came close to him, really, for me, was Bixente Lizarazu. He was the only one I could, you know what I mean? Left back, you know what I mean? Left back, do you know what I mean?
See,
But I mean,
I have a couple more that wouldn't. Well, they were close to making the list, but there's no way they could have made the list purely because for me, Maldini was outstanding.
yeah,
But Roberto Carlos, purely
yeah,
from an attacking point of view.
yeah,
Obviously, Roberto Carlos, he was in that era of Real Madrid's philosophy of if you score 3, we'll score 7. What's
yeah.
your beef? Do you know what I mean? The Galactico era, a lot of people tend to not remember that or forget that the defense was appalling during the Galactico era. We had Salgado was moved into defense and stuff, and but going forward, when you've got your Figos and your Zidanes and your fucking Raúls and Ronaldos, you kind of don't worry about the defense. But the advantage you had with Carlos was his free kicks. Obviously, there's that famous one at Le Tournoi de France against France. But also just his attacking threat for a little left back. He was so fast. And another one that nearly made my choice was Ashley Cole. I think Ashley Cole from an attacking standpoint as well as Carlos, but also from a defensive standpoint and consistency. I think being a fullback, consistency is a key. So moving on, I'll go right back. But then you can pick one of your defenders.
All right.
For me, right back, the finest right back that's ever lived, and he's been able to transition himself into centre midfield, Philipp Lahm. Absolutely phenomenal. Another one that's been able to. He's in his mid-30s now, and he's still playing. He's still playing at a world-class level. He still is world-class, but from an attack, I always kind of look. I like good attacking fullbacks, and Philipp Lahm. You could play him either side. You could stick him on the left if need be. So versatile, and for me, he goes. But again, with right backs, I was thinking Cafu, like we spoke about a bit ago.
Yeah.
Cafu for AC Milan was phenomenal. Gary Neville, again. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Consistency.
No, I say that.
But
I think you appreciate Neville more. You appreciate Neville more now he's gone because you actually see. Well, you see how shit United have gone at the back.
Yeah, the link-up play between Neville and Beckham was fucking outstanding.
Phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal.
But for
Leader.
me, Philipp Lahm. So yourself, pick one of your centre halves.
Marcel Desailly.
Marcel Desailly.
Absolute wall of a man. Wall. You know, just again another part of that famous AC Milan.
Back four, yeah.
Untouchable. You know, obviously left AC Milan and went to Chelsea.
Yeah. And he proved it Chelsea because he joined Chelsea during that generation of Ruud Gullit leaving and Gianluca Vialli starting. But he kind of started bringing all these foreign players that people had kind of heard of, and people thought, are they coming to the end of their careers? Like Zola, when he signed Zola was late. Zola was nearly 30 odd when he signed him.
Casiraghi.
Casiraghi.
Dan Petrescu.
Didier Deschamps.
Exactly. Frank Leboeuf.
But look at that defense though. When you had Celestine Babayaro on one side, you had Dan Petrescu on the other side, and Petrescu made his name at Sheffield Wednesday. And then centre halves, you had Frank Leboeuf and Marcel Desailly, who played together at France as well in France '98.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, phenomenal defender. For me, I'll move on to my centre halves. This is the one this is my latest one, let's say, or earliest one if you want to look at it. Franco Baresi.
What a player!
He was.
What a player!
The thing of Baresi that always got me was the fact that he was instrumental in developing players like Costa Curta, like Maldini at AC Milan.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he passed the torch, didn't he?
Yeah, but he passed the torch. He won 6 Serie A titles, 3 European Cups. But in 1990, what always gets me, in 1990, the kid won Player of the Year. Now, how many centre halves win Player of the Year? Full stop.
Exactly. Yeah.
And he was top scorer in the Italia Cup. Top scorer. Now, how many centre halves are top scorer in anything? He was absolutely, and that's why he's my captain of my side.
Yeah.
Baresi, absolutely phenomenal, and deserves to be in every fantasy football team ever made. One of, if not the best Italian centre half that I've ever seen play.
Oh, phenomenal. What a player.
What about yourself? What's your rate? So have you got one more centre half then, have you? Or are you moving on to
midfield? I have. It's none other than Nesta.
Alessandro Nesta. What
You
a
know,
player.
and this is what we said at the beginning. I bet we've got the same one. You know, we said, you know, you growing up watching football, you grow up watching certain things, and you know, you have these teams you follow all around the world, and AC Milan were mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just couldn't. You couldn't. You just said it, Franco Baresi. You know what I mean? Them sort of players, they don't go away. And AC Milan's team was just full
Yeah.
of, you know what I mean? If them players were 10, 15 years younger now and still able to play, every Premier League, do you know what I mean? Everyone would want to sign them.
Oh, they'd be worth hundreds of millions.
Do you know what I mean?
I've always said that with a lot of players like your Baresis who were big in an era that money in football wasn't there. And I'd love to see like valuations of players like Baresi or Maldini.
Yeah.
Maldini was 25 years old in 2017, how much he'd actually be worth.
Oh, like you say, you wouldn't have thought twice about chucking 150 million.
No.
If you can go chuck 50 million at freaking John Stones, the United paid 39 million for that young Swedish lad Lindelof today. Yeah. 150 million pound Maldini. Fucking hell, take my money.
Well, I think that's it. You nail on the head with especially with
Nesta,
modern day football, you know with the prices at the minute. It's like 20 million pound doesn't get you a good player these days.
Well, 20 million pound buys you an academy player these days.
Yeah,
buys you an academy player. Buys you a young, you know what I mean, reserve. Championship player. No, I'm not disrespecting anyone.
No,
but it buys you a championship player.
Yeah.
10 million will buy you someone from Division 1, and it's been proven.
Yeah.
You know, it's been proven. So, I mean, 50 million pound, people say, oh, it's too much money. Well, what? It's the current price these days.
It's the value.
50 million is the new 20 million pound.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean?
But even still, you look at some players that, like John Stones. Like, for me, John Stones is nowhere near the player that people say that he is.
No, I don't think he is.
I don't think he's going to be either, because he's getting told...
I think Jagielka was a far better player.
Well, John Stones is getting told he's better than what he is. And he's starting to believe it.
Well, agents are guilty. You know, blow smoke up kids' asses, and it just shows when you go to a team like Manchester City that have had good centre halves over the years, good centre halves.
Well,
and he's gone there and he's making faultless mistakes.
Look at some of the players that have gone to Man City because the grass is greener according to their agent.
Exactly.
Like your
Fabian
Delph, Rodwell, Sinclair.
Exactly. What's his name? Yeah, Rodwell. Exactly.
Yeah. So many that have gone just because
it's fatal mistakes. Fatal mistakes.
So my last centre half, I always go down and say that is Alex Ferguson's biggest mistake. Jaap Stam, just solid, an absolute tank, and could move like someone like Ryan Giggs.
The beast.
Yeah.
He's like the Brock Lesnar of football.
Yeah, absolutely.
A fucking absolute animal.
And I like him. I don't know if you've... Jaap Stam's now obviously manager at Reading. I don't know if you've seen many of Jaap Stam's interviews. I love his accent because he's like... He's still Dutch, but you can tell he spent a lot of time in England.
Yeah.
Because he's got this weird English-Dutch accent. And it's like... He slips into a bit of mank every now and again. It's hilarious to listen to Jaap Stam. But yeah, from a player's point of view, from when the Jaap Stam that I remember, like the Man U Champions League winning of 99, Jaap Stam... absolutely, no one better.
Oh, there wasn't. No, there wasn't.
League. And Alex Ferguson, like I said, he's gone on record and said his biggest mistake that he ever did was firing Jaap Stam. But Ferguson, as we all know, is one of the biggest egomaniacs in world football. And you write about Fergie, or you talk about Fergie in a bad way, he don't give a fuck if you're Pele, Maradona, Jaap Stam. He's not bothered. He'll sack you, he'll fuck you off. But it took Man U it was only until Man U signed Vidic that I think they got that stability back in the defence that they were missing ever since.
Well, I admired Stam for what he did, you know. I admired him for what he did because I think I've got a lot of time for Alex Ferguson. I'm probably one of the very, very few Liverpool fans that will say Liverpool fans blow smoke up freaking people like freaking, Shankly and Paisley's, Joe Fagan's ass. Fantastic managers, did fantastic in the eras that they managed, right? Fantastic. You know what I mean? Or as Brendan Rodgers would say, fantastic. So great character, you know? But I firmly believe, and I look at it and I think, why do they hate him so much? Is it because he's that good? Clearly he's that good. Look at his credentials. And like you just said, people were afraid of him.
Yeah.
If it weren't Ferguson's way, you were shown the door.
Yeah.
Multiple players found that out at United. Andrei Kanchelskis,
David Beckham.
I firmly believe Schmeichel was pushed.
Yeah.
I don't believe for a second Peter Schmeichel left United because they wanted to replace him. That's bullshit. Schmeichel was still very, very young in goalkeeping years. And let's not forget, he played for Manchester City.
Mm.
Why would you play for Manchester rivals if you had so much love for the club?
That was it. If you
Come on.
When he left, did he go to, was it like Sporting Lisbon
he went to Lisbon, then he came back to the Premier League and he played with City and then Aston Villa.
Yeah, his love for playing in the Premier League was still there. Do you know what I mean? And it was when he played for City, it was one of them weird transitions.
I believe he was pushed.
And yeah, definitely. But he was part of the Man City team, wasn't he? That beat Man U when they beat him 2-1 when Sean Goater scored twice. And
he celebrated.
It's like, fuck you, Ferguson.
Yeah, and he celebrated, exactly. Yeah, so there's my loyalty.
Moving on then, let's get a bit of midfield. Now, I've got a simple 4-4-2, so I've got right wing, left wing, 2 centre midfielders. Obviously, you've got 5 in midfield, so have we got 3 centre mids, 2 wingers?
I've got 2 centre mids, 1 attacking mid, a right mid, and a left.
Right, we'll go right mid then. Give me a right mid.
Right, I'm going for the guy that moved from Sporting Lisbon to the shite.
Cristiano
Ronaldo. Oh my God!
Just getting better and better and better as well.
Oh mate, I'm sorry. Do you know what? He earns every little bit of respect, and I love the fact that the majority of people that hate him are these people that are Liverpool fans and people that are jealous. People that call him arrogant. I got nothing against arrogant footballers. He's earned every bit of success he's got. You know, Real Madrid winning titles.
Well,
the list is endless of players that have played for Real Madrid. Class acts.
Being a Sheffield United fan, players like your Zidans of the world, you don't really get the chance to see them. But in the year that we did spend in the Premier League back in 2006, I did get the chance to see Ronaldo play when home and away. And I always remember at Bramall Lane, they beat us. We went 1-0 up. Keith Gillespie scored, and they won 2-1. I think Ronaldo and Giggs, I believe, scored. Maybe wrong on the Giggs bit. But Ronaldo, within like 30 seconds. So obviously we had Keith Gillespie at the time. It was 35-year-old Keith Gillespie, ex-Man U, ex-winger. Well, he still played on the wing for us, but it depends what you want to classify as playing on the wing. But within 3 minutes of the kickoff, he sent Ronaldo up in the air. He went through him, and we were all like, see, he's just this fancy step-over kid. He's fucking useless. And then the rest of the game, he made Gillespie probably want to retire.
Yeah.
He ran rings around everybody. He wasn't as the influential as Ronaldo is now, but obviously this was young Ronaldo when he still had dodgy teeth and that blonde bit in his hair.
Well, I mean,
but it was
I've watched this lad.
I've
watched this lad. You know what I mean? Just I've seen him play against. I've seen him score against Liverpool. I've seen him rip Liverpool to pieces. Do you know? It's just for me. You can't call him arrogant because I like to look at a player, and today I look at football and I think he's driven by money. He's driven by money. Ronaldo was driven by success.
Oh yes,
right. And it's very hard now to find a player that you can look at. He wants to win.
Yeah.
He wants. Do you know what I mean? He wants to clean up. He wants to win everything. He's already said when he finishes with football, he's going to be a manager. That's the type of. Do you know what I mean? That's the player he is. He wants to win everything there is to win in football, and that is why he deserves. And that's why I say he's a better player than Lionel Messi. Because to me,
I've always been in
he's
the
proven
he's an all-rounder. Lionel Messi's an attacker. Lionel Messi is an attacking midfielder. That's what I look at his position. He plays behind the strikers.
And he's a leader as well, Ronaldo.
Ronaldo's a leader. Look at him in the European Cup final.
Yeah.
Look at that, Ronaldo. Like, I remember I was sat watching it with the missus, and she kept commenting, "Look how much Ronaldo's like being like the manager, telling him what to do." And she's like, "How can he?" Because Alas, obviously with family and stuff being over in Spain, Alas's ties are with Barcelona.
Yeah,
Barcelona are her second team. They're the family's second team on her side. But for me, we always have the Messi Ronaldo argument. You wouldn't ever see Messi do that.
No, I don't think he's a better player than Messi.
Character. Messi needs strong characters around him.
Yeah,
Ronaldo
exactly.
is a strong character.
That's exactly what I've always said. Messi's had his ass wiped.
Yeah. I'm not taking it away. I'm not taking nothing away. Messi's an unbelievable footballer. But Messi's had it a lot easier than Ronaldo has.
Oh, yeah. Ronaldo's worked for it. Harder. A lot harder.
Ronaldo's had to cut his teeth.
You mean he's had to leave Lisbon at a young age, go to a big city with a massive club, prove his worth, sold from Manchester United to the biggest freaking enterprise in fucking European football, Real Madrid.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people say, oh, it's a lot of money. Fucking wasn't a lot of money. Real Madrid have freaking tripled that.
Yeah.
You know, and the guy just deserves every accolade. I love him. I think he's freaking fantastic.
Right midfield. It can only get given to one person because I am a massive mark of his. A massive fan. Won Golden Balls himself.
David Deep Messi. It was between him and Ronaldo.
The reason why, because if you look in the grand scheme of things as a right midfield, like if we go back to the days of an actual winger, Beckham is not a winger. Beckham had no pace. And that's what allowed Beckham to carry on playing into his mid-30s and still be the player he was. But Beckham had the ability to pick a spot out on the pitch and 9 times out of 10 land the ball exactly on that spot. But for me, where Beckham won me over was against Wimbledon, opening game of the season, 96-97 season. Jordi Cruyff plays the ball to Beckham. He looks up, he takes a touch, he sees that Neil Sullivan's off his line, and he goes for it and lands it. And the commentary, when he scored, is introducing David Beckham. And I was like, whoa, this kid's quite good. And then that was it. From that moment on, I was hooked on Beckham. I was brand Beckham all the way. So for me, there is better players out there, like Luis Figo. He's played on the right wing. Georgie Best, if you want to go way back. Probably
Mark
Overmars. But for me, because of his ability, A, with his free kicks, and B, he didn't need any pace. Like, you look at all these players, Overmars' biggest attribute in his game was his pace. He could take anybody on. Beckham didn't need that because Beckham could do you just with a simple pass. Yeah. And, given the chance, he knew where the back of the net was as well. Beckham scored some good goals in his career.
He was good with his head as well. You know what I mean? He had a lot more to his game than just passing the ball, which...
Yeah, and another thing with Beckham as well, he had the mental strength to get over what happened in France '98.
Oh, wow.
Because the day after, do you know what I mean? It was on front page, it was on the news, there was people burning effigies and stuff. He got over, he was public enemy number one. Everybody despised him, and he managed to get over that, get to the point where Glenn Hoddle gave him the captaincy. No, it wasn't Glenn Hoddle, it was Peter... what was his name?
Taylor.
Peter Taylor. Yeah, gave him captaincy in the game, I think it was against... it was like Morocco or something stupid like that. No, Moldova. It was Moldova.
It was Moldova, yeah.
Qualifier. Gave him the captaincy, and that was it. Then we just saw a different Beckham.
It's like a transformation, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
it made him. I believe it made him the person he is today.
Oh, I do. I think he needed to get knocked down all that way to build himself back up again. And he rebranded himself. And then obviously we had the goal against Greece that sent us to the World Cup, and that made Beckham a hero. Do you know what I mean? He's gone 4 years after making him being public enemy number one. He is now, the name on everybody's lips is Beckham. Did you see Beckham's free kick against Greece? So for me. Do
you know what? I remember I was sat in a pub in the afternoon watching her. And you know what I mean? I'm Welsh, but I'm British. Do you know what I mean? I don't get all this anti-fucking national shit and fucking winds me up. You support you know what I mean? You support the Britain at the end of the day.
Of course.
England, Scotland, Ireland, you know what I mean? It don't fucking make a blind bit of difference.
Unless they're playing each other.
Me. Do you know, unless they're playing each other. Then fucking come on! Do you know what I mean? But I remember I sat there watching, I was like, and he just, do you know what? I think about it now and it gives me goosebumps. Yeah. Because I can just remember him placing that ball down. And I remember sat there with my mate Keith. And I went, he's going to bang us in.
That was the thing with Beckham.
And he just did. I was just like, wow.
Every time that Beckham stepped up to a free kick, you were 99.9% confident he was going to score.
Yeah.
Because he was that good with his free kick. And I always remember the commentary. Because I know obviously since then they've brought out all the videos of ITV's had their commentary on it. Sky Sports have done a video with Beckham. But for me, it was John Motson. When Beckham put that ball down, John Motson, in his words, was something along the lines of, David Beckham now with the entire weight of the country on his shoulders. Yeah. And then it was, Beckham!
Yeah. The fanning Motson coming out like.
Yeah, always love that. So let's move on then from right midfield. Let's switch it over to the other wing. We'll mix it up. I'll go first. For me, left midfield, Luis Figo. I know it's not really his position, but I needed to fit him in this squad.
Played there. He was that good.
Luis Figo, no matter where he played. And again, for me, mental strength as well plays into Luis Figo's game. He managed to leave Barcelona, a superstar, go to Real Madrid and make himself... Because the first game that he played for Real Madrid, when he went to take a corner, they were throwing pigs' heads at him and all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
But he managed to get over that and turn himself into an instrumental part of that Galactico team.
Yeah.
Like he was as much as people remember the Zidanes and the Rauls and Ronaldos, Figo for me was just as important, if not as important. He was so technical, but he had a mind where Zidane did all the creative stuff, and Zidane did all the flicks and the fancy volleys and all that. Where Figo, he was always one of them. You kind of watch Figo, and his head was like always on a swivel. He was constantly looking around on the pitch. It was like he knew where everybody was at any given moment. And his strength as well, and it was everything that a centre midfielder or a right winger, or for me and my team, a left midfielder. Hey, if Sven can play Paul Scholes on left midfield, I can play Figo left midfield.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. he was fantastic.
Yeah.
And again, he's another one of them players that I just wish I could have seen in the Premier League.
Oh,
because I believe he was every bit that good.
Yeah, definitely.
Every bit.
So what about yourself, left midfield?
Oh, mate, I loved and adored this man. This was a man crush, honestly. Czech Republic, international.
Poborski?
No, played for Lazio. Left Lazio for Juventus, Pavel Nedved.
Oh, Nedved. Yeah.
Honestly, mate, it's the biggest man crush ever.
Yeah.
Man, it's just I loved everything about him, and the fact that he was just commanding.
Yeah. I always wanted to see him play at Real Madrid. Do you know, like when Real Madrid, when they had the Galacticos, but they had Guti playing in left midfield?
Yeah.
I always wanted Nedved to be playing. I thought if Nedved played there, because Nedved for me was always one of my first signings always on any football manager. Because Nedved was just brilliant in that position on the left. And I always wished that Nedved would have signed for Real Madrid.